We are 22 West Radio, the next wave of K Beach. 22 West Radio is 22westmedia.com and 881 FM KKJZ HD, 3 Long Beach, Los Angeles.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Beyond the Ropes.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Rob.
Busy couple weeks. We did not have an episode last week, but we want to quickly acknowledge that the world of sports entertainment and pro wrestling lost one of its greatest individuals, Bruno Sammartino. He passed away at the age of 83 last week. I'm assuming, or we are assuming, by natural causes, but what a legendary career. He held the WWF Championship for almost 8 years at one point, without a doubt the longest reigning champion in history. He was a pioneer, and he will forever be missed. There was a tribute earlier this week on the WWE Network, as well as on Monday Night Raw, as they told the bell 10 times for him. So without a doubt, we will miss Bruno Sammartino, and his contributions to the industry will never be forgotten.
That's so sad because Bruno, for many years, he was outside of the WWE, right? It wasn't until not so long ago that Vince was able to contact him and stuff and get him a relationship with the company.
It was about 5 years ago when Triple H contacted Bruno Sammartino to join the WWE Hall of Fame in 2013, I believe, for WrestleMania 29. And yeah, it was the first time in several years where Bruno was a part of the company. And so he had left because he was not a big fan of the Attitude Era type of, style, the direction the company was going. And so, he was out of the company for a long time. Luckily, he was able to come back, join the Hall of Fame, and reconnect with the audience. So
now it's pretty amazing because it goes to show the strides that the industry has come, because he lived in an era where, for one, he came to this country as an immigrant, and he had to go ahead and, work his way up to be recognized and be this, premier athlete. But I find it admirable that his body lasted as long as it did, because the way that a ring is constructed now, it's not as rough, because he mentioned that there was actually steel bars under the ring before in his era.
right, it was a different era, and they didn't have all the luxuries that we have today. And so back in the 60s and 70s, the rings were very different. The style of wrestling was very different. A lot of it was very different. And so the body had to endure a lot. And especially when, considering he sold out Madison Square Garden 187 times. That's crazy.
Because now the wrestlers of today, the mat is not only nicely padded, but it's like a shock spring that absorbs most of the impact underneath. And there's a microphone hidden in the bottom.
It is, but they do take a lot of bumps still, though. They do work, I think, a heavier schedule than they did in the past. Nonetheless, Bruno's era was definitely an era of toughness, and you had to be really, really dedicated to the craft, and not a lot of people got that fame and recognition, and Bruno was at the very top. So. And
the great thing, I think the cool thing, and I don't know if it's rumor, but I love the fact that when they did try to ask him, Bruno, can you finally take your rightful place in the Hall of Fame, that he asked for a particular Legends contract that's equal to the pay of John Cena.
Really? I did not hear about that. Well, it makes sense. Considering what he did. Before Hulk Hogan, there was Bruno Sammartino and, Andre the Giant. He was among those legends. And so it makes sense that he would want something like that. I did not know that, but that's an interesting fact. Obviously, there's a new shirt out that WWE put out respecting and paying homage to the legacy of Sammartino. So definitely using his name in, I think, the most appropriate way. There's obviously a statue of him that was made a few years ago after his Hall of Fame induction. And so his memory will live forever. and we have so much to get through this week. The Superstar Shakeup was last week. We didn't get to discuss that because we didn't have a show, but there's a lot of new storylines building and a lot of new scenarios that we could be seeing, especially with tomorrow being the greatest Royal Rumble, which we have to really get into very soon. We have to give our predictions as well. But a few of the standouts of the Superstar Shakeup. Drew McIntyre was called up from NXT and has now joined forces with Dolph Ziggler. I don't know if you saw this past week on Raw, but they look like a dominant force to be reckoned with.
I saw a little clip that has been circulating on Instagram, where I think McIntyre was talking about their time or something like that.
Right. It's essentially it's their show. They are the show now, and they had a dominant performance against Titus Worldwide, and what a standout performance it was. And so that was really cool to really see and hear. Next up, we have, who else do we have called up from NXT? Well, Sanity is coming. Sanity from NXT without Nikki Cross.
Yeah, that was really something.
Have you seen Sanity in NXT? You have, right?
Yeah, I mean, but to not have all the members come through, I think that's not.
From what I've heard, they're holding back Nikki Cross because they want her to kind of stay in the women's division, because right now there's not really a whole lot of women in the NXT women's division that's a real threat to Shayna Baszler, the NXT champion. And so she's definitely kind of a standout there. Hopefully when she does get called up, she will join the rest of the group. But that's a bit odd, I agree. Andrade Cien Almas is scheduled to come up with Zelina Vega, and that should be a really good call-up for SmackDown as well. We had Samoa Joe go to SmackDown, The Miz go to SmackDown, the Riot Squad went to Raw.
Just very awkward to have Samoa Joe going, considering he was part of the Authority.
Well, he wasn't an official part of that group. I mean, you know, he was very friendly, I guess, but,
Yeah.
you know, they kind of, what I find weird is that he was kind of in the middle feud with Roman Reigns. Obviously, they're going to have their blow-off match at Backlash, but, you know, they're not going to continue it after, I would assume not. And so, yeah, those are a few of the Superstar Shakeup names.
I like that the club members have at least joined AJ Styles, though.
Yes, yeah. Did you see that match?
No, but just the results in general, just knowing that, you know, he's finally reunited with them, it's great.
Right. No, I agree. I think a lot of people like that. They're no longer apart with Finn, obviously. He stayed on Raw, but it's good to see the club back together. And hopefully we'll see something more with them in the future. They had a 6-man tag match on SmackDown, and unfortunately they came up on the short end, thanks to Shinsuke Nakamura, who has been, without a doubt, the highlight of the last few weeks. Personally, for me, one of the best heels in the business right now. And he got a new theme song. I don't know if you heard it, but it's a remix of his old song with some Japanese rap. So it's very catchy, but it's smart because you have the audience sing along to his music, and now they can't because they don't understand what's going on or what they're saying. So it's really cool that we get to see a full transition for Shinsuke as a heel. And then we have the Greatest Royal Rumble tomorrow. It's starting at 8 a.m. for us. The kickoff show is.
That is quite the event. It's just, you know, it obviously addressed, you know, the elephant in the room, the fact that unfortunately they're not allowing the women to compete in this event, and it's such a monumental event, and it's a shame that they have to miss out on this.
Oh, absolutely. I heard they're getting a big payday though. That they are paying the women good money, which they should. You know, obviously, different country, different rules. You know, they are not allowing the women to participate, which is unfortunate. But hopefully down the line, you know, we'll be able to see a transition or something like that. But yeah, stacked card. This is looking to be better than the WrestleMania card. I mean, when you think about it.
I just feel like when you pull someone off of being advertised, though, it's like so awkward. Like, oh, oh, guess what? We're having this person represented in a match. Oh, last minute, we're changing him. Y2J. He had. Oh my gosh, I'm sure everybody was all excited saying, Chris Jericho in a casket match. Oh, last minute, I'm not gonna be there after all.
No, he is gonna be there.
No, but not in the casket match anymore.
He'll be in the Greatest Royal Rumble.
I
but
like
he
the
won't play.
humor though that he played into it.
Right.
Did you hear his comment?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He said he doesn't care if he's the start of the match,
Right.
the last match, a jobber, or in the lingerie match with Funaki.
Yeah, I saw that. he does not. Yeah, I mean he's a true professional, and I mean it was originally Undertaker versus Rusev to begin with, so they went back that route.
Yeah, it's great though as a veteran of the business that he's willing to step out of the way, and he'll gladly participate in any shape or form for the sake of the business and to entertain the fans no matter what.
Right. And so let's talk about that. So Undertaker versus Rusev in a casket match. Let's give our predictions.
Now, obviously Rusev's not
Obvious,
gonna bury. He's not gonna go ahead and put Undertaker in a casket.
Obviously not. How long do you think the match is gonna be? It's not gonna be longer than 5 minutes.
No, Undertaker has to conserve his energy. I mean, save your best for a pay-per-view.
I mean,
yeah,
they're building
it's great
this
to have
like.
Undertaker there, but it's not good. It's a quick squash. Just
Oh, without a doubt.
um,
Do you think 3 minutes?
at least, and then maybe they're on break. Have one of those T-shirt guns and like let people have some Rusev Day shirts everywhere.
Well, we don't know if Rusev Day is popular in Saudi Arabia. We don't know. I mean, it's a totally different world.
I mean, merch. The idea, anyways, is having it. There.
Oh, I'm sure they like
Great.
merch. Have you seen the stadium? It looks really nice.
That's another thing is the setup is odd in the sense that like business-wise, let's say you all of a sudden ran out of tickets because of sales. I mean, obviously, yes, they sold out, but the structure, how they said married couples would be on one end, the children would have to be on one section with their mothers. All the single men had to be at the very, the nosebleed sections in a sense.
Really?
So the whole country divide of like how because of certain beliefs.
Right.
For a
So,
sporting event, there's a lot of complicated booking that went into creating this venue. It's really something.
well, definitely the culture is a lot different there. Obviously, women aren't competing, and as you mentioned, the stadium's going to be separated into different groups.
No, but I mean the idea that they figured, like the single guys have to be at the top. They wouldn't want them to be horn dogs with freaking like married ones. I mean, that obviously they're gonna know they're married, but like, I don't know. I just find it so.
It's just
Right.
a different culture. We're something that we're not used to. I understand it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but we don't have to agree. It's a different culture. That's what they believe. WWE's getting paid a lot of money to put on this show.
Yeah.
And that's the reason they're doing it, obviously. And hopefully down the line they open up, for more, shows in the future, and maybe we get to see some change in those countries over there. So we'll have to wait and see. But for now, we'll take it. WWE's getting paid a lot of money, so they're obviously going to put on the biggest show, and they're going to do whatever is right, what they feel is right for that culture and that country. And so we as audience, we don't have to watch it, but as wrestling fans, we are going to watch it. So
I believe the U.S. title is up for grabs. at the-
every title except the women's titles are up for grabs.
It's an interesting matchup. I think it's quite intriguing in the fact that they're from different brands, though. What happens if the title changes hands?
Well, they always have Backlash to change it back. Backlash is in a week and a half, so
Rematch clause. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, Jinder Mahal got moved.
it's Jinder versus Jeff Hardy for the title, U.S. title. Yeah, I mean the same thing goes for the IC title, the Intercontinental. It's kind of their mixed brands, but I mean again they have Backlash. Now they're doing dual pay-per-views. Something I don't know if we mentioned, but they are doing both Raw and SmackDown pay-per-views moving forward. So they could always switch the titles back. But Jinder versus Jeff, who do you have for that one?
I don't want Jeff to lose the belt yet. I mean, Jeff Hardy is already a champion. I mean, it goes to show that the company is willing to still give him a chance because Jeff Hardy had a DUI not that long ago, and he's had a history of trying to ensure to stay clean now.
I don't think he's gonna lose the title either. Something we didn't mention as part of the Superstar Shakeup, he actually won the title. So we obviously didn't mention that, but
Yeah.
he is a champion, and he beat Jinder for it, and so I think he will retain the title.
I mean, it's a nice way. I mean, a compensation considering it's obviously they decided not to let him be part of the Broken Universe and separate him from his brother.
Well, I think Vince wanted him to have a singles career. I think they
Man,
wanted a singles push.
The Broken Universe has such a huge following, and the transformation that Jeff goes through when he's in the Broken Universe, though, it's cool.
The issue I have with the Broken Universe right now, or Woken Universe, they're not really doing anything with the Hardy compound. They're limited. It's very limited right now.
I like that Twitter post that Bray Wyatt did,
I saw that
where
with
he's all like, why does this Dave Meltzer, question my
yeah.
allegiance to House Hardy? Like, it is true so long as I stay away from the creature in the lake.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing Jeff in a singles feud, so I say Jeff retains. You say Jeff retains, correct?
Yeah, Jeff has to.
Ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. Seth Rollins, the champion, defending against Finn Balor, against The Miz and Samoa Joe in a four-way match.
Oh my gosh, Samoa Joe to finally have gold? It's time.
You think it's gonna happen?
Yes.
I'm very doubtful. The title, you can't have both mid cards on SmackDown.
Oh man, this changes like everything.
You mentioned the brand
Yeah.
split. Samoa Joe's on SmackDown now. You can't have both.
Then they'll come up with something. I don't know if you remember, but a while back, years ago, Triple H got drafted, and
Right. Oh, they
also-
traded him.
Yeah, they traded him for 2 stars.
Right.
And I remember Triple H like being like big and bad. He's like, "I'm so great of a superstar that you had to go ahead and ask for a trade. You had to get 2 superstars just to come and get me."
Right.
And they got Booker T and I think RVD at the time.
I think they got
as
the
a
Dudleys.
trade. No, not the Dudleys.
It wasn't the
No,
Dudleys?
he got Booker T himself, and I mean Booker T's a huge star. So
Who the
I
hell
was
is
kind
he?
of upset with that, with the whole idea that like you're trying to say that Booker T's like worth half a star, or
Yeah.
like Booker T is like a huge brand.
Right. We have an audience of children.
how
Hi.
cool. Hello.
We have an audience here.
Oh yes.
Nice to see you, everyone.
Everyone on Periscope, check it out. We
Right.
have a wonderful
You're on
audience. We
Periscope,
have a wonderful
everyone.
audience. We are here on various different forms of video. We have a live webcam, we have a web feed of video, and a camcorders in the back. So
Absolutely.
we have quite a bit of a setup going on.
And
So-
we're on Facebook. It's facebook.com
Oh,
slash
yes.
Beyond the Ropes.
Our
Go give
fan
us a like.
page. We are a pro wrestling talk show. We talk the latest news in the industry, and we critique matches and make predictions on upcoming pay-per-view matches.
All right, and let's continue with our predictions from the Greatest Royal Rumble. Let's get into the tag team division. Raw tag team titles. Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt versus The Bar.
Oh my gosh, it's the Broken Universe. It's time to, the whole
The Woken Champions, right?
expedition for gold.
They're gonna win those titles. It makes sense. The Bar's on SmackDown. They could go back to Raw if they win them, but I don't see that happening.
Oh man, this is great.
Right. So, I mean, Bray and Matt have chemistry. And so that should be, I think that'll be a great tag team moving on to the future.
Cool.
SmackDown. Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos.
Usos, of course.
Bludgeon Brothers are retaining those titles.
No, no,
Yeah, they
no,
are.
no. I
They're-
don't want to think it. No,
They're
no,
too
no.
dominant of a tag team to lose those titles so soon. They just won them a few weeks ago. We're not gonna see that.
I hope
Those
there's
titles.
like some kind of cameo appearance though, where the whole Bludgeon Brothers cross paths with Bray, and all of a sudden maybe Bray. Right now, this repackaged Bray is like, "Have we met before?" or something like that.
I don't know. I don't see that happening. I think Bludgeon Brothers are in their own
Oh,
world
man.
right now. Cruiserweight Championship. Cedric Alexander versus Kalisto.
Cedric's
Cedric's
keeps it. It's
retaining.
too soon. Why would Cedric lose it? He just barely won it.
Well, you can say the same thing about the Bludgeon Brothers.
Bludgeon Brothers can stay as
No,
jobbers for now.
No.
Whatever.
Jobbers, they've been winning. They haven't been defeated.
I mean,
Well, they lost on Tuesday, but that
I
was a
think the
one-on-one.
Bludgeon Brothers, the thing is, you can't help but think of them as Rowan and Harper. As
Well, that-
just the minions of Bray, and that's it.
Well, they're their own now.
I mean, I know my sister makes fun of Rowan's attire. She's always saying that he looks like a janitor with a thong or something. It's like, cause
Yeah, the
like
attire is not
the
great.
jumpsuit is like way up.
The characters are great, but the in-ring work is just so crisp and smooth. I don't know. But
I like the whole gimmick where he had, you know, the whole like sheet mask and stuff. But now, they have some kind of other thing going on now with their insurance.
it's part of the gimmick, you know, with the hammers. I don't know. It's a little ridiculous, but
I mean, what are they gonna do? This WWEshop.com and you get one of those inflatable looking hammers that are
I would not
look-alike
be
of those?
surprised. I would not be surprised. if it did.
Everything now, I mean, obviously, yeah, you gotta make a buck and stuff and coming up with different ways to have merch, but.
Yeah, I can see it. We'll see if they get popular enough. All right, John Cena versus Triple H. This is a big match.
Thank you for everyone that's tuning in. I've seen that the audience members just keep on tuning in from our two different platforms.
Yeah.
I know that for those of you who are just tuning in, apparently we have, in case we forget, we have to mention, reintroduce ourselves like every 15 minutes and stuff, just in case.
Oh, all right.
I'm Rob,
I'm Ethan.
and this is Beyond the Ropes in case you're
Just tuning in.
Yeah, we have to also play a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Know that 71% of students at Long Beach State receive financial aid. In 2016, Long Beach State awarded $12.3 million in scholarships. Not only that, each year more than 1,500 students are served by Disabled Student Services, leaving no barriers in their path to an education. At the beach, we know no barriers.
Oh, cool.
It's a philosophy that applies to everything we do.
WWE fan. No, you have no idea.
We're back. And we are back here on Beyond the Ropes.
Once again, I'm Ethan.
I'm Rob.
So thank you for tuning in if you're just joining us. But John Cena versus Triple H. We're talking Greatest Royal Rumble. Who do we have?
What was that again?
John Cena versus Triple H.
Triple H wins. I don't care about Cena.
Neither do I. I don't know. I could see Cena winning, but
No,
I want
that's
Triple
okay.
H.
He's perfectly fine being one of those jobbers that returns.
I heard
Go to
he-
movies already.
I heard he's lost his last 7 pay-per-views. He's been losing.
That's fine.
I
He
never
could be
saw-
the next
which is
fucking
fine.
Brooklyn Brawler.
We're both in agreement there that we want Triple H to win. Now let's get
Yeah.
to the world title.
Pedigree him, give him like 5 just for fun. Just
Yeah.
agree him.
It's possible. I can see that. But who knows? He lost one tombstone to the Undertaker, so it could just be one pedigree. That does it.
I know, but just for fun. Throw him on the table too while
That's-
we're at it. Put him through it.
WWE Championship match: AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Keep going, Shinsuke. Do something to go ahead and go over.
You want Shinsuke?
Oh yeah.
I want Shinsuke. But who knows? Yeah, he kind of needs to win.
I mean, at this
Or-
point, his freaking nickname could be the Nutcracker. I mean,
It could be.
jeez.
Every week. However, another thing I've been thinking about AJ Styles could get disqualified. Maybe he's been pent up and does a low blow himself to Shinsuke, and they'll continue the feud, obviously. But who knows? AJ would still retain the title. I don't know. I'm predicting
Yeah,
Nakamura. I
and-
want Nakamura,
yeah.
but that's a possibility.
Yeah, the only way that it's not a Nakamura win is if it's a DQ.
Yeah, because Nakamura's not getting pinned.
Mm.
Not yet, at least. Universal title. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, steel cage match.
But it's not switching hands at all. I mean, this stays on Braun.
Roman's winning that.
I mean,
They purposely had him lose at WrestleMania so he could win in Saudi Arabia. That, I don't know.
I heard Paul might not or may be there. There's like so much confusion on whether Paul
We
Heyman's
don't-
going to be there.
I think he is. I think the last I've heard he was. But in addition,
Because I
Brock's-
know that's it's exclusive, right, to the network.
you're right. No, I think it's on pay-per-view. I could be wrong. I thought I read it that it was available for pay-per-view order. But if it's not, it is, I guess, only on the network. We don't know Brock's contract, if it's long-term or short-term. If this is his last match, then he's losing it, without a doubt, but we don't know, that's the thing. I don't know, what else would they do? If Brock retains, who's gonna beat him for it?
Everybody has always wanted for years a Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar.
They don't have to do that. They
I
don't,
mean,
they don't need
you
the
have
title
to
either.
Listen to the audience. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, but how cool would it be if? I mean,
Vince wants Roman as champion, and that's the only way they're gonna put the
but
title.
at the same time, like Vince always wants Brock to appear as the dominant, vicious, competitor.
And he has for
And
the last year.
I don't think we will ever see like Brock beaten legitimately. I would assume that it would be more of a run-in cost Brock the match.
No, that would just ruin Roman.
Or,
Roman needs to.
Paul Heyman
show.
betraying Brock.
If Paul Heyman's not saying it, wouldn't make sense. Unless he's aligning himself with Roman. for
That
the-
would be the only way to kind of like get enough heat on Roman if he turns heel like that.
It's also depends on the crowd reaction. If they really love him over there in Saudi Arabia, that could be the other reason why they crown him as champion there. Which, that plays a big part because obviously they were booing the heck out of that match at WrestleMania. So who knows? I'm saying Roman. You're going with Brock.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll find out tomorrow afternoon
Yeah.
for us. And the largest Royal Rumble in history, 50 men. They've called a lot of former names. I have not read spoilers, so I'm not looking. but
Has there ever been a superstar that's from there?
I don't believe so. The winner gets a trophy. That's.
That's it.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Why
It's a one
call
and
it
done.
a Royal Rumble if you automatically?
Because they're following the Royal Rumble rules.
Yeah, but when you think Royal Rumble, you think title shot, not no trophy.
They're just getting paid a lot of money to do it, so that's why they probably made the match. That's why they made the match. So they could, have people
I mean,
go
why
and
call it
watch
the
it.
greatest Royal Rumble and it's not the Royal Rumble pay-per-view?
It's the largest. It really should just be called the largest Royal Rumble. We don't know everyone's who's in it, so who can we predict?
Well, I mean, every time I hear and think of Royal Rumbles, I think it's cool to have DDP go give some diamond cutters just for fun.
It would be interesting if he's in it.
I mean, superstars from the past, but I know this is, I don't know, he's probably retired for a bit, I don't know. The Iron Sheik, imagine him
He
like,
can't move. I think he's like he
I mean,
uses
it
a walker,
appears-
doesn't he?
Oh, man.
He has for years, or Kane. I think he has for years. I think Shawn Michaels was called and he declined as usual. As
Yeah, he wants to stay retired.
Yeah, he doesn't want to
You'd
get
be
back.
lucky you just see a super kick and that's
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
He's not ever gonna, wrestle.
Rey Mysterio is confirmed for the Rumble. Great Khali is confirmed.
I don't know if Ray is gonna be able to do much if he's not wanting to go ahead and get an operation for his arm. That's
Is he not cleared? He went. I'm pretty sure he's. Well, near cleared at least. If
And
he's in the
then-
match.
Did you hear about Ray being associated with a new company?
No.
Aero Lucha, something like that.
No
Where
clue.
apparently fans get to be a part owner. They have this
Huh.
crowdfunding program going on.
Oh,
and
really?
When you pay to donate, you get a share of stock in the company apparently, but it's not voting stock. But you have, Ray is totally throwing in his, how do I say it, his reputation associating with it. You have advertisements now with Ray's picture, and it's now the fans can be part owner in a company for the first time. It's like, that's
interesting.
something.
Yeah, that's big. But yeah, he's involved in the match. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Daniel Bryan, is he gonna win? I mean, they love the yes chant, so maybe. Braun Strowman is over.
Is that Naki?
No, it's me. Sorry.
Oh,
I'm gonna go with Braun Strowman winning
we're winning which type of match again?
Royal Rumble.
Ah, man.
He's been over. That him or Daniel Bryan makes the most sense.
I feel like maybe it could be like a big shock and have this somebody who was associated with NXT at this point. Anybody NXT?
I would be okay with that, but would the crowd of Saudi Arabia know who that is? That's the thing. I don't know if they watch NXT. I don't know if they get NXT over there. Well, they have to have the network, I would think,
Yeah,
right?
I mean that would be something. Have somebody.
I would like that.
NXT.
All right.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I guess that's the greatest Royal Rumble talk. What else can we discuss? I don't know. What?
I mean I know that we did talk WrestleMania when we did have our show. We didn't get that much into like what happened in the Hall of Fame.
Long speeches.
Oh yeah, but it's really something because I like the story that Goldberg mentioned because now it made sense why one day when Goldberg did come for his program, I'm like, why is he bleeding? Brock didn't even do nothing to him yet.
Oh, right.
He's all bleeding from his forehead, and it turns out that Goldberg slams his head on walls.
He talks about that in his special on the network, the 24 special. If you watch that, he'll talk about it there too. But yeah.
It's like, oh, guess what? Surprise test. Goldberg, we gotta test you for concussion. He's like, what happened to you? I gave myself concussion.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
that was a good story.
Yeah, I've never heard of somebody pumping themselves up that way with adrenaline.
He's an intense individual, so
But
Makes
it's
sense.
really something because Booker T challenged him to a pull-ups competition, and his response was, "I'm sorry, I wish I could, but
When
I
was
have
this?
2 torn rotator cuffs."
When was this?
This was just recently. I read that like this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he challenged him on social media if he'd like to do a pull-up contest, and Goldberg's response was that he can't because he has 2 torn rotator
Well,
cuffs.
he's 50, 51. His body can't take what it used to, I guess.
He and it's something because they told him like, would he have another run? And like, he's like, never say never. So if he decides, to get those rotator cuffs repaired, maybe in a couple of months or maybe in another year, maybe there'll be one more type of program.
Maybe, but who? Who would it be?
Somebody totally different now. I think
It'd have to be someone who really is a big star.
that, or maybe he wants a Undertaker match. Everybody wants an Undertaker
Everybody
match.
wants an
That's
Undertaker
a nice,
match, but
crowning achievement
it
on
depends
your career.
if Undertaker wants a match with them. Because if he doesn't, then it's not going to happen.
Oh yeah, that's really something to have Undertaker, still around.
How many more years do we think we have?
Well, the great thing is he didn't have to have such a long match at this particular WrestleMania, so it conserves his energy for like a potential really big one.
If he does this every year, where he just has short matches, he could be around for a very long time.
I'd
so-
rather he just only do WrestleMania so that it's a
Yeah.
lengthy, great quality one.
Yeah,
Because this way, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, Undertaker can only do one match because we know that all of a sudden something's gonna pop.
yeah. I mean, and he's in really good shape now.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I know there was
Consider
like a
it-
social media post or his wife
Michelle
is
McCool's
recording him
yeah.
like all of a sudden doing squats with like weights on his shoulders and to show like how much power he is, he could still like carry a lot of weight.
Right. Yeah. So, let's see. What else? Did you watch NXT this week? No, I have to catch up on that. 205 Live. Need to catch up on that. We're a little behind this week. We're a little-
Yeah, going back still to the Hall of Fame. I mean,
Oh, the Hall of Fame, yeah, correct.
that was I really liked the joke and the humor and stuff.
Did you watch it all?
Yeah, I
Okay.
got to see the
Yeah.
Hall of Fame, and the Dudley Boys.
That was a good speech. It was
Yeah,
fun.
I like the humor where Bubba all of a sudden stops Devon's like, "What are you doing? Like all of a sudden, like you're talking so much.
Oh.
Don't you know? All you're supposed to say is testify. That's what you've done your whole career."
That was a funny moment. Devon finally got that charisma out.
Oh man, that's great.
Which was really cool to see.
Yeah, I like that comment where he's like, "Bubba, I don't know if you got the memo, but I'm office now. Now
That's
I
right.
tell you where to move and when to speak."
That's right. He works behind the scenes now in the WWE. So
Oh man, that's really great. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll see Devon's sons compete.
they are wrestlers.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility. They could be a good tag team. Who knows how far along they are?
I mean, there's a lot of potential spots even in that greatest Royal Rumble. I mean, how many competitors possibly be in it?
Well, there's 50. I don't know. Well, I'm sure a lot of guys will be pulling double duty that night, tomorrow. I could see the guys from the mid card and tag team titles getting
How about
involved.
people from the past? Like, you know, another person who's been.
Mark Henry, I think, is.
Oh yeah,
in
for
that.
sure. But I
think he
mean,
is in that.
another person who's always wanted to come back, and we don't know when he'll ever come back or if he'll ever come back, is Ken Shamrock.
How old is he though?
I don't know, but I mean, if a guy can train and still look intense and come back for like one Spike TV like
I know.
cage fights,
I know he did. He's been doing MMA
Oh,
for
yeah.
the last few years.
he lost. I think the last time I saw him compete was on TV for free. He was competing against Tito Ortiz.
Okay, I think I saw another one of his fights where he lost, but it wasn't Tito Ortiz.
Sonnen, I think too. No, didn't he fight Sonnen?
It might have been. I'm not too familiar with.
Yeah, but I
MMA,
mean, he
but-
just does like one time, like Bellator once like a year,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it was probably like 2 years ago. So,
Oh man.
but yeah, I mean, with MMA, Ronda Rousey transitioning, and obviously Kevin Shamrock being a former WWE superstar, he could always make a comeback and have a brief run. You know, who else could we see in the Rumble from the past?
Kevin Nash would be great if he's able
Oh,
to.
well, he just had surgery. I think knee surgery, so I don't know if he'll be back. I don't know if he's in that condition to be back in the ring yet.
James Ellsworth would be great.
James, that would be funny.
Have a one-on-one confrontation where all of a sudden, as he's in the Rumble, here comes Gilbert.
Gilbert, that'd be interesting. They get Gilbert. They're actually good friends. Did you know that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna. I think he had
They're a tag
advertised
team,
they're
I think.
gonna like compete against each other for one match.
They competed against each other already. I know Ellsworth won. And then I think they were tag team champions too. Somewhere. Who else? Who else? Who is he back?
Bangor?
That's a possibility. I don't know if they're gonna delve that all the way back. That far though. But it's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean that'd be great to see.
He still wrestles.
Anybody that was from the Attitude Era, like all of a sudden show up.
Rikishi, possibility.
Oh yeah.
Rikishi's always a possibility.
Um,
Obviously, a moment with the Usos would be great.
I know. I was just thinking like if that area is like very sensitive of like what they watch on television. They see Rikishi do his move.
They probably won't do that there. It also, yeah, I mean, we have to really depend on the culture. I'm not really familiar with that culture, so who knows what they'll be limited to do. Obviously, you can't have women on the show, so, we'll see. I heard MVP
Yeah, yeah.
has been maybe interested in coming back.
Thank you for tuning in.
I don't know who else. We could see a few NXT names. As you mentioned, you were saying you wanted an NXT name.
Oh yeah, the Undisputed might show up for
Undisputed Era,
that. Yeah.
possibly. Sanity could. No, they might save Sanity for SmackDown to debut. Could see like Lars Sullivan.
I heard that depending on the election, maybe Kane.
I thought he was pulled out from that. I thought I read
Oh,
somewhere
no.
that they pulled
He's
him
got his
out.
election going on. So
Right, exactly.
since
Which is
he's
why
trying to balance politics and stuff.
I think he was pulled from the show. I thought I read somewhere that he was no longer gonna make it. Big Show is. He signed a new contract, right?
Yeah, I heard he's still going to remain on the roster, so that's
I think.
great
Well,
to
there's
see.
a billboard of him in Saudi Arabia, so I would assume he's gonna be in that match.
I know, it's interesting. I read an article that says that Braun Strowman considers Big Show to be his wrestling dad.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big guy, so he's got to learn from another big guy.
Oh, yeah.
Who better than the Big Show? One of the most versatile superstars of all time. Let's see. John Cena and Nikki Bella broke up. Did we
Yeah,
talk
that
about
was
that?
really something. That would really
We missed
upset a
that
lot of
last week.
people on the internet. And now the interesting thing is people are saying, how are they going to do the whole reality TV series? Because supposedly the next season was supposed to be built upon, like leading up to the last episode was Nikki and John's wedding.
Well, it's not happening anymore, according to that.
Now that they're saying that they're going to have to be forced to kind of like act like everything's cool and stage a breakup.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How
Yeah, that
awkward
makes
for
sense. I
them.
mean, it's reality TV, so
Yeah,
that's a possibility.
Awkward.
That's odd. Let's see. Huh. Apparently, so I'm looking this up right now. They apparently taped a breakup on the show, but got back together 3 days later.
So it was a on and off type
The
of
second
change,
and
man.
final breakup was not taped for the show. So either they're gonna have to recreate their second breakup, or they're just gonna have to use the old original breakup. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Bree had to go ahead and clarify some of the rumors.
What were that?
There was reports that Bree threatened that she would go after John, and
Oh,
she's
wow.
like, no, like John will always be like a brother no matter what if he's not with Nikki anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're being very cordial with one another, so,
Yeah.
we'll see, I guess. I guess fans are gonna have to tune into Total Bellas if they really wanna see that. I don't know. I don't think we really care. We're not Cena fans, so.
Oh yeah, it's like,
So
Miz must be excited about that.
Miz was
Speaking
right.
of which, I can't believe he just lost to Mr. Raj.
That's a little disappointing, yeah. But I mean, it's time to venture off on his own. They're clearly trying to do something with him and Daniel Bryan, which kind of got sidetracked with
I always-
Big Cat's returning. So
I always feel bummed out knowing that, once Axel finally has something going on, Curtis Axel loses whatever's going on.
yeah, that's true.
Oh man.
As soon as something gets good for him, stops. It gets taken away from him. But they're still together, and they're still calling themselves the Miztourage until we find something new, I guess, for them. They're still using Miz's music. They use it on Raw against Balor. And,
Maybe they'll beg for a trade.
well, they were begging to be a part of Seth Rollins as part of the new Shield, and then Finn Balor as part of the Balor Club. So they were wearing the T-shirts and everything, so that was really fun. But
Oh,
they got
okay.
rejected by both of those guys. So clearly, they're trying to look for a new mentor. Maybe we'll see something new in the coming weeks.
Hmm,
How many minutes do we have left? We have a few.
like 3.
We're gonna wrap it up soon. We're heading out. I know we got through things rather quickly this
Oh
week.
yeah.
So
Anything coming up?
Backlash. We have Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax for the Women's Championship. We could talk more about it next week because we still have a
Yeah.
week to go. But then we also have Seth Rollins versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. Obviously, it depends on the result of tomorrow and what happens.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna like lose it right away.
Yeah. We have Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns. Just our standard match until we see who. If
I still like the idea that Roman can't beat Joe legitimate in 1-on-1 yet.
have you seen that?
Yeah, I think he's only like beating him like when it's like a tag or something
Really?
like that, or like a triple threat or something. He pins somebody else, but he hasn't gotten that victory on Joe himself. I think on the 1-on-1.
I feel like we've seen them before 1-on-1, haven't we?
Something
have.
happens, I think.
Okay. Well, we'll see a backlash.
Because I mean, every time we saw promos of Joe would say that
Okay.
he can't beat him legitimately.
Well, we'll find out at Backlash, I guess, if Roman can defeat. I mean, if he can defeat Brock, then he could probably defeat Samoa Joe.
Thank you everyone who has tuned in to our 2 live streams here. I see that there's audience members that have been coming back and forth.
Yeah, we're always on YouNow. Where can they find us on YouNow?
The Ask Questions hashtag.
And on Periscope.
That was live pro wrestling, and the map was on the location.
And on YouTube.
Yes.
Search Beyond the Ropes, correct?
Yes.
And we are on Facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. Give us a like. Go watch our videos that get posted. We're a few weeks behind, but the videos are going to be posted soon, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll put our latest predictions. I'll put the latest predictions for the Greatest Royal Rumble, since our video probably won't be up in time for tomorrow's show, but I'll put them up later today, so that way our viewers and audience can see our predictions. And Greatest Royal Rumble next week. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about what's coming up for Backlash and the landscape, and hopefully we'll have a lot more to discuss. But until next time, thank you for tuning in. I'm Ethan.
I'm Rob.
And this has been an episode of Beyond the Ropes, and it has been too sweet.